Welcome to Ramblings of the
Hello.
Madhatters of the world. Woo! Another episode. This is a space where we bring you inspiring stories from unexpected voices across the globe. These are real people, real journeys, and the kind of resilience, creativity, and courage that makes you pause and say, wow. I'm one of your hosts, Jess, and I'll let the other two introduce themselves.
Oh, we didn't hear you, hon.
Ellie, you have no sound. You muted yourself. There you go. Nope,
Oh,
no
no.
sound.
Nope. Well, while she's trying to fix that, hi, I'm Chris. I will be right back. I have to answer a family question. Hold on.
We're starting off with a bang today.
Bang today. I think I fixed it.
Yep, you fixed it.
It kicked off my setting before. I'm Ellie.
Oh my god. This goes straight into the whole this week has been like wild with podcast equipment issues.
Yes.
Like we've been testing all these different things to try and get things to work with how we envision things going, and man,
It's been one roadblock after. How long were we on that voice chat yesterday to try to troubleshoot streaming stuff? Like at least a good 3 hours, right?
2-3 hours at least.
At least.
At least. And we still didn't figure it out.
We still didn't figure it out. Oh god. It's a struggle. It definitely is a struggle. Absolutely.
Huge struggle.
I am here. Camera will be back on in a moment.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Oh no, everything's good. Just I
my
love
gosh.
I have kids. They said it'll be fun.
Here, have a kitty.
Hey Severus.
I already got 3 of them.
That was Willow.
Oh, Willow.
She likes to sit right here in my armchair. So I have a little guest on my chair, and sometimes it's annoying because she has like upper respiratory issues.
Right.
A lot of so she likes to snot all over me all the time by sneezing, and it's gross. It is super gross. It's like having a baby that sneezes on you, kind of thing.
That sneezes on you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of that thing. It's gross.
Or the toddler that specifically comes to sit in your lap to sneeze on you.
Yes. So like I'll be laying in bed and she'll hop up on the bed and go straight for my head and like paw at me, like give me attention, and within a couple minutes she sneezes right in my face.
It's like, oh, thank you.
Every single time. I think she does it on purpose.
I have one cat that she's absolutely the mouthiest one of the 3. I had been laying down in my bed. This was before my knee surgery, and because I had my knee propped up, I'm icing it, trying to, just make it to my last, it's my last surgery that I had. And I had a hoodie on, and she came up, literally was nose to nose to me. And then she saw the string for my hoodie, and nose to nose.
Oh.
And she started chewing on the string to my hoodie, and I was like, no. And so I tucked them inside of my hoodie. She put her nose against mine and went, meow. She wanted those strings, and I was like, no. She got so mad. Yeah, I'm not sure what's worse. Kids at toddler phase or cats?
I don't know either.
Because it's pretty close.
It's really fucking close. Like it's almost scary how close it is.
Well, yeah, and some people who don't have children would say, well, kids don't just look you in the eye and push shit off tables. Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those terrible 2 stages. Oh.
And yeah, just absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Are you about ready? Ready, Chris, for
Oh yeah.
okay.
Yep.
So let me where'd my mouse go? There it is. Okay. That is the sound that introduces our
There we go.
segment. In today's episode, we're kicking off our new segment, Mad History of the World. And I personally am really fucking excited for this because one, it's history stuff, and who doesn't fucking love history? And two, I get to learn new shit. So yeah, I am absolutely excited for this. I don't know if you can tell. So
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
here, let me do the hand flappy.
Stop it. Oh my god.
Big head, little arms.
Oh god. Okay, get on with it now. Do it, lady.
Oh my goodness. So, kind of want to set the scene for everybody today. We're going to go back in time, specifically to 1938. Now, at that time, President Truman decides to make a pretty huge announcement. He decides that he wants to desegregate the U.S. Armed Forces. Granted, that sounds amazing. It's a real step forward. But here's the thing. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Around that same time, there was this guy, R.L. Van. He writes a letter to Dr. Ernest Wilkins and pretty much lays it all out. He says, look, Black citizens have fought and died in every war this country's had. They've paid their dues, but they're still basically locked out of the Army and the Navy. I mean, talk about a mic drop moment.
Right?
You can't get more of a mic drop at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Even with Truman's big decision, the reality on the ground, it was tough for African American soldiers. In 1939, for example, there were over 340,000 soldiers, and only about 3,600 were Black. And they were always led by white officers. Not a great combination.
No.
When the Selective Service Act came along in 1940, there was a group called the Committee for the Participation of Negroes in National Defense. That one's a mouthful. They really started pushing for things to change. Less discrimination, more Black folks, getting to serve, things like that. In 1941, with a little help from Eleanor Roosevelt, the Army finally started letting Black nurses in, thanks in part to, of course, Eleanor, and then the National Association for Colored Graduate Nurses. Big butt here, though. They put a cap on it. 48.
Only 48?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a whole lot.
48 nurses. That was it. That were allowed to be Black.
Now I do know from for the Navy, the only Black people that they would allow to enlist were cooks. Because
I didn't pull that information specifically. No.
At that point in time, it was they believed that Black people couldn't swim at all and would just sink like rocks.
Yep.
That's such naive thinking.
Well, and then jumping ahead to 1943, segregation was still a massive issue. And remember, Truman made this decision back in 1938. It still stayed an official policy until 1948. Roosevelt even put a limit on how many Black people could be in the military. And at that point, it was 9%. 9.
9?
9. And the Army never even reached that 9%.
They haven't changed that?
I have not looked at the current numbers, but that's what it was at that time. And then with all of that, if racial discrimination wasn't enough, there was also rampant sexism, which I'm sure that's no shock to anyone. Women in the armed forces during this era were often viewed as logistical problems. They were never viewed as a valuable asset to the military at all. They faced severe restrictions on combat roles. which, I mean, we all know that didn't change until the 80s. I think it was the 80s. And then they were frequently depicted in a sexualized manner, which we all have heard the horror stories, as a matter of fact, about those things. Pervasive sexism compounded the challenges faced by women, and then add all of that for Black women who were now receiving the racism and the sexism. So that is the backdrop. The world, I guess, if you'll say, to our incredible subject that Ellie is going to introduce us to.
Yay.
Indeed, I have spent pretty much all this week pretty much hyperfixated on this subject and doing a really big deep dive. It is a lot to unpack and unravel. In addition to that, also learning about many things throughout history while I was doing this. I'm like, oh, well, that was the first thing for this, and that was the first thing for that. And then doing these small intermittent dives in all of these different facets, which I go into a little bit of a detail in this. So I have a little show. Okay, let me I'm gonna pull this here and then oh wait. Not quite. I need to do this. Share. How do I share my screen with you with this?
You click on share and then screen.
It's a little monitor down at the bottom.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties, like I said, we're going to be tying that back into it. Okay, it should be going now. Yes.
There we go.
Okay.
That woman has such an amazing smile. Look at that smile.
Yes, it is. So today we're going to talk about Major Clarity Adams Early, and I hope I said her name correctly. She was the first African-American woman to be an officer in the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps, later known as WAC, or WAC is what the spelling ended up being. She was one of the first of many big changes at her time that she did in the Army. She was born on December 5th, 18, and she was raised in Columbia, South Carolina. Now, this woman, in my research, I found out that she was incredibly smart. In elementary school, she tested at an extremely high level, high school level, but her parents decided to hold her back because she was already several grades above her education compared to her peers, which I'm just going to say this is phenomenal. So right from the get-go, she has a really strong brain. Okay. I feel like she was destined to kind of make changes in this. Sorry. She went on into high school and she graduated valedictorian from Booker T. Washington in 1938. Little fun fact that this is a small dive I dug into. Booker T. Washington High School is a historic school that was established in 1916 and ended in 1974. Wow. It was one of the largest public high schools for Blacks in South Carolina, and one of the few schools that was state accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Secondary Schools. Which is, I just think, like, learning about this stuff is great. And I wanted to bring attention to this for another aspect that I'm going to tell you guys about later. But I wanted to make sure that we knew about this.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So after high school, she graduated math. Oh my gosh, I'm stuttering all over myself. After high school, she majored in math, physics, Latin, and minored in history at the Willoughby Forest University in Ohio in 1938. Another little fun fact now about the college that she went to school to. The university was founded in 1856, and it was the first owned and operated Black university in Ohio. Like,
That's awesome.
she went to a
Okay, that's
school
really
that was
cool.
one of the first things, you know what I mean? That was like, she was a part of history. And in her oral history, which I'll have all my references and stuff in our blog post after this video, but in her oral history, she makes a comment where she's like, you don't know that you're making history. At the time when she was doing these things, you don't know that you're doing it until after the fact. So it's a little tidbit, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know things are happening and making history until, you know, years and years has passed.
Right.
So from 1838 to 1842, she taught math and science in a junior high school in Columbia, South Carolina. Now, I will say this, for African-American women at that time, there wasn't a lot of career opportunities. It
Right.
was either teaching or something in the domestic service department. So the job choices for African-American women were very, very limited. So I think that's one of the other reasons why she had considered to enlist, because there's could have been some opportunity there.
Right.
Now, she ended up getting her MA degree in psychology from the Ohio State University after she finished her service. But I kind of wanted to include that in this segment, that we guys kind of have like a little backstory on her educational background, a little bit about some of the things that she was involved in, at least around that time. So as I stated, like, this woman is absolutely phenomenal. She has the educational background that is amazing. I wanted to share these things so you guys have like a clear picture of what I'm going to be talking about with her history in the military.
Right.
Now, her life was moving normal up until this point, until the time that she enlisted in the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps in 1942. At the time, the Army was still segregated. So before I move on to that, I do want to say this. Many African Americans did want to be a part of their country in their service. They wanted to serve their country despite the segregation and the racism that they encountered. You know, because it gives them something to do that. Like, there was a hope, a drive into that, even though they faced so many difficulties upon that. One of the many struggles that they faced was the ability to career advance. Now, I dug a little bit into some documents that was sent over to me. This is an excerpt from a official release document, where it essentially was a draft memorandum trying to argue that there were a lot of African Americans in grade 5. And in the report, there was, as you guys can see in the number, I mean, it's kind of blurry, but there were 475,000 African-American soldiers that were in grade 5 compared to their white counterpart of 98,000. And as you can see on the numbers there, like how low as it goes up in rank, that the African-American soldiers, you know, there wasn't a lot of higher ups above that enlistment.
Okay, so it starts at 5 and goes up to 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it's a lot. It's a little bit of a read. Again, this document, like where I pulled this document from, is also going to be referenced in my thing there at the blog post. Another example of like issues that the Army had faced and Black African Americans that they faced. Another little micro thing. I know this is kind of a little bit of everywhere, but I promise you it's all part of the grand scheme of things. I'm going to butcher this. Tuscan, I can never pronounce it right. Thank you.
Tuskegee Airmen.
Tuskegee Airmen. I'm so sorry. Don't hate me, I promise. So this is from an excerpt that I had pulled. Airman Winwith. So the Tuskegee Airmen was established by an individual, and I have all the files linked to a more deeper dive. If anyone cares to watch it or look at it, it'll be posted. That goes into a deeper dive. I'm not going to go into it here because there's not the right podcast for it. But just like what Major Adams, what she had did in her time with the battalion that she did, there was this going on. So it was just another program, an example of a program that was destined, set up in a way that would set them up for failure, even though that they absolutely strived and exceeded that. In this quote, it was programmed to fail. Tuskegee Airman Winruth Wintry noted that the school was set up as a tool to back up the findings in 1920s War Department report saying that blacks aren't smart enough or disciplined enough to fly a plane. The Tuskegee Airmen not only broke the color line, they shattered stereotypes about black pilots. I make reference to this on the greater scheme of things. I'm going to continue on. So I found this really cool photo of Eleanor Roosevelt like doing this because she made a visit and she was a very pivotal point in desegregation. So I wanted to make that note there. Back to Adams here. So she was enlisted into it in 1942, and she was stationed at Fort Des Moines. In 1943, she was promoted to major, and in 1944, she was reassigned to the training center control officer in charge of improving efficiency and job training. Now, for most people, they would consider this as like, this is good. I'm happy where I'm at. No, not her. She wanted to serve her country to the best of her ability. And I wanted to stop doing that for a second. Go here. I'm going to share a different thing. 1 second. Technicals, hold, please. Screen.
I should get some hold music for us.
Right, exactly. Thank you. I wanted to have this playing. Is it streaming now? Don't stream. There we go. I wanted to have this playing because it's a 7-minute video. There's no audio to it, but this was actual footage from her time. Okay, so in December 1944, Adams led the only battalion of black WWIIs ever to serve overseas. They were stationed in Birmingham, England, where Adams was put in charge of the Postal Delivery Service Unit. And in January of 1945, she was appointed the commanding officer of the battalion, the 688 Central Postal Delivery. But in February, I think I skipped a line. I'm trying to not do it. But she declared herself that she was going to take charge of this. Because she never got any she got the letters saying that, yes, you're going here, but nothing from the War Department. So she pretty much sent a letter saying, I'm going to take a charge of this battalion and I'm going to be the one leading this. So when in February of 1945, the battalion landed in Birmingham, England. Major Adams was given a command by her general for her battalion to endure, after enduring the long journey that they had to march. Okay. Her battalion had to endure such drastic environments. It was they had to avoid German U-boats. So, I mean, imagine it this way. Like you're on seas, you've never laid foot on it. You have no real training on what to expect. And on top of like you're traveling in a vessel that's not really designed for it and going back and forth. The conditions on that boat were also not the greatest for these women. So having to immediately leave the ship and go right into marching. I mean, and they did it successfully. They did it to like the full force of their capabilities, which is phenomenal. That command there was an attempt to set her battalion up for fail. This goes back to like how the overall mindset was in that time of continuing to try to set people, the Black African-American community, African-American soldiers up for failure, and examples in which they superseded that and proved them wrong. This is also a good time to touch up on how sexism affected and undermined the African American women. Pause that. Go back here. So I have this thing here where I wanted to compare the differences between the African American WACs versus the white WACs, and the differences were just astounding. They're down to like the duties that they were had to do, the voyage. Like, it's striking, the differences. Yes, both white and African American women had to also deal with the sexism aspect, but not anywhere close to what African American women had to go through. And in addition to that, like with Major Adams, she was the only Black woman at Black Army Battalion, only one out of all of the people. She had the only battalion versus the white WACs who had several.
It's insane.
It is insane. They weren't giving any opportunity, and this makes me mad. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't have been that way. And we've made some great strides to not have it be that way now, but the whites, we had a lot more different tasks that we had, the different jobs. So I don't know, I wanted to just kind of compare the vast differences, and kind of point out and shout it out, this happened, this was part of history. And I think that we need to remember that. Before going into this deep dive, I had no idea who this woman was, or even this story. I never heard of the Netflix, nothing. I'm going into this completely blinded. And there's a lot in her story that I don't really necessarily pinpoint, because I felt like there's a lot of things that are out there that if anyone wants to dig in deep, there's that Netflix thing that's out there. There's a plethora of articles that you can dig in and find information detailing the things that she's had to endure. But I wanted to kind of give an overall view of her life, of the things that she had accomplished. Because when she was in this, I'm going to start sharing the screen. When she was in this battalion, she had 6 months to handle everything, of all of the articles and everything, the amounts pressure to do this, while also dealing with the segregation issues, the racism issues, the limits and things that she had to endure, all while trying to just do her fucking job.
Right.
You know what I mean? And essentially always continuing to fight that pushback. Just let me do my job. Let me do it to the best of my ability. But every roadblock was trying to prevent her from doing that. And she showed up. Her and her whole battalion showed the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they were totally bet.
And when they finally started making real headway on delivering the mail for soldiers, she became everyone, she walked into a room and be like, "Hey, are you Major Adams?" Yeah. And they fucking start clapping, because they got letters from their family that they hadn't heard from in a while, and they needed that overall morale, that confidence change to get the moral. And then back home, people getting letters from their loved ones overseas, and getting that finally there is this, you know what I mean? There's some knowing that their loved one is safe, or at least having that closure that, hey, yes, they've passed, they've moved on, they served their country. So she paved a really crucial role, and defied all odds. So that's kind of in a nutshell where I'm at with this, with her. And I'm glad I got to kind of do this dive on it. You know, I kind of got really focused, and I was excited and nervous about it all.
I absolutely love how you were just like, I'm gonna do this week, and then you just dove right into it and just like, woo, and it was.
Oh,
fun
I
to
thought it was
watch.
amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
It was fun to watch. I do have to make a correction
Okay, make it.
with something that I said about how Black people were thought they couldn't swim. There was another thing to that I completely forgot about, and as you were talking, it made me think about it, and I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. One of the other reasons why they weren't allowed into service is because it was strongly believed that Black people couldn't see in the dark.
The misconceptions. And I watched a whole other thing, and I forget who it was on TikTok, where when it came down to breeding farms.
Oh,
And how they didn't get any painkillers and C-sections, and like they couldn't feel pain. Like the misconception on that. Like, I think it's important to realize and remember and force people. I think that's why another pivotal thing why I think I wanted to start this is because we need to, as the younger generation, as myself and you guys, like you're older a little bit, but like to make it more well known that like this is a thing that happened. Like we're so focused on what's going on right now. I think it's also good to remember where the fuck we came from and what the fuck happened.
Yep.
Because
for sure.
We could be easily on that same path right now.
There were different times throughout history that Black people were used as guinea pigs, I guess, for a lack of better term. They were put through unnecessary surgeries. They were
sterilized. They were just horrific things. I forgot the name of the doctor. It was the guy who he was a big name in gynecology, and they still use some of his procedures today.
Oh yeah.
But
really?
He experimented on Black women the entire time to get these procedures because they were seen less than human, and this was in the 50s.
They didn't think that for some reason that if you had more melanin in your skin that you couldn't feel pain.
Yeah.
It's sick.
Absolutely
what the fuck?
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
There was I am trying to remember. I believe it was syphilis. That there was a group of Black men who were, it was some experiment, and they were given, I believe it was syphilis, and given nothing to treat it, and they were just tested. They were told that they would have free medical and all of these things. Well, yeah, they're going to give you free medical because they need to test you, because they need to check up on you because of what they did to you.
Yes.
It's hard to think about. And I think that's why I was so nervous to talk about her, because I'm embarrassed. You know, like yeah. I'm ashamed that that's a thing that's happened. So I'm even though I didn't participate in that and I was not a part of that, like I am white. I will never truly understand what it's like to go through something from a Black person's point of view. I won't. Right. I can be as empathetic as I possibly can, but there's a lot of things I'll never really be able to understand. I could do the research. I could talk to people. I could like break down my understanding and what I was taught and like continue to do this, and it's not an easy task. I At little back history on me, like I grew up in this like somewhat small suburban town in St. Cloud, Florida, where the KKK was extremely prominent, so prominent that they would leave a business card, a little wallet-sized card, in the gas station pump. They would ride up on horses, broad daylight, and like segregation and like the racism was so undeniably strong there. Since moving to St. Louis, Missouri, like I still see it, but I found way more culture and community and being able to break down just me being comfortable. Because it is a culture shock being around other people that you're just not used to seeing. It took me a minute to like get over that anxiety of being here. And it was hard. I get a lot of people that live here that are native here and they're like, why the fuck would you move here? Why? It's like stereotypically the most dangerous city in the United States. I'm like, I don't know. I feel way more welcomed here, and I see more community involvement than I do here than I ever did, and where I grew up. And I'll never move back. Fuck Florida. Fuck Marco Rubio. He can go suck a dick.
I get it.
Gee, don't hold back. Tell us how you really feel.
Sorry, a little bit of it.
I get it 100%. I grew up in a very racist household. My stepfather was raised in like Northwest Missouri in a small town. So you kind of get the idea. Missouri, the rural parts of Missouri are very, very racist and very steeply rooted with the KKK and white supremacy in general. And my mother, she grew up in Iowa, and kind of the same thing all around. And it was just it was never really talked about until I made a friend in high school that was black. Because in my high school, I could count on one hand how many black kids were in that school. And it was a school of over 2,500 kids. Like my class alone had 600 kids.
Jesus.
Yeah. And my sophomore year, I think it was my sophomore year, I made friends with a black kid. His name was Duncan. And such a sweet kid. So smart. He was brilliant. And he always had these fantastic ideas and a great writer and all of that. And we were good friends. So he would call every so often and we talk. And my mom found out that I was friends with them. And she's like, "You're not going to date him, are you?" And I'm like, "No, wasn't planning on it. He's just a friend." And, it and she just kind of gave me a look, and we kind of had a little bit of back and forth. I don't remember the full details. I mean, this was 30 years ago. Oh my God, I'm old. Anyway.
We're the same age, remember?
Listen.
I'm listening.
It was 28 years ago. 28. Anyway. Then I'm like, we got in a conversation about race. We didn't go very far into it. And I'm like, he's a good guy. He's really smart and he's just really nice and we're just friends. And she's like, "Well, black people are different." And I'm like, "How are they different?" And she's like,
"Because they have more melanin?"
She literally said, "We're better than them."
Oh no.
I was fucking floored. So, I just let it drop because, you're 16 years old. You don't even think about it. And yeah, so as I got older, I've had to unlearn a lot of biases that were taught to me without being overly taught to me. And that's been
It's
it,
the exposure.
it's been an interesting process because it wasn't until I met a large group of women in the planner community. If you don't know about the planner community, it's like, planner stickers, your day planner, that kind of thing. Um, Met a wonderful group of black women in that community who schooled me hard about my bullshit. Because, I'm like, oh, yeah, the Irish were indentured servants. So it's kind of the same thing, right? No, no. Chattel slavery and indentured servitude are two very different things. that was that was a learning experience. I got checked hard. And if you take the time to sit and just listen, and it's uncomfortable as fuck. Pablo, I know how they are different. They have the best fucking cookouts. Yes,
I
they
mean,
do.
you are spot on with that. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like, oh man. So after that experience in 2016, I've been on a journey. And it's been a wonderful, horrific, wonderful journey. And it's horrific because you learn about things that you'd never really thought about, you know?
Yeah, that you were just exposed to, and to you it was, oh, that's just what so and so does, or that's what so and so does.
Right. And in my early 20s, I moved to Utah from Nebraska. So I moved from basically one white culture to another. And I say culture loosely because white people and their culture, it's all stolen. But um so I never really got to experience diversity of any kind
Hmm.
because I was always surrounded by white people. And the one time it was before I met all these wonderful black women in 2016. It was in 2011. I just gotten married. We moved into an apartment in Midvale, Utah, which is a suburb of Salt Lake. And the school district that my daughter was enrolled in, the school that she was enrolled in, was predominantly Hispanic. And my racist came out.
Oh.
I felt extremely uncomfortable with her being the only white kid in the school. So I pulled her from the school and I transferred to another one. And I fully admit to that I did this, that it was a horrible thing for me to do. Looking back on it, I'm completely embarrassed by even doing that. Like, what was the point of me doing that besides my own comfort?
Right.
And now that I know better, it's just like we have so far to go.
Oh yeah.
We have so far to go as white people, as white women in particular, to change people's minds, to make them reflect on things instead of being in their feelings when they're being told, hey, this is racist and hurtful. You just need to sit down and shut the fuck up and listen. Put on your listening
Oh yeah.
ears. If you feel hurt by it, grab a fucking journal and write out your feelings. Go to therapy and talk about those feelings. Those feelings do not belong to any other marginalized community except for your own, except for your community, for yourself to work through. So if you're working through something that deals with racism or any kind of homophobia, transphobia, whatever, find a fellow white person like myself, and I'll sit there and I'll hold your hand as you work through it. I don't have a problem doing that. Will I get mad at some point? Probably. I have a little bit of a temper. But I am more than happy to walk you through your feelings and try to explain things so you can get out of those feelings and realize, hey, I could be a better person. I could do this better. I could react better this way. I could do any number of things. So, um, part of my learning journey was moving to Indianapolis. We moved to the east side of Indianapolis in Lawrence. And if anybody knows anything about Indianapolis and the east side, it is a very, very black neighborhood. Very black.
I live about 3.5 hours away from Indy.
Yeah.
I literally live like 3.5 hours away from like everything, I swear.
Right? So, our house was in a neighborhood that was a mile away from the deadliest street corner in the entire city. So we were basically in the ghetto. And whenever I was in like TikToks or whatever that were talking about Indianapolis, people are like, "Oh, you live where?" Kind of thing. But a lot of the violence is pretty spread out in Indianapolis. But we were on the edge of a food desert. So it was an eye opening experience for me, but it was also helpful for my daughter because she, was high school at the time. So she went to a predominantly black high school and learned a lot. And learned a lot. And I think it was a fantastic experience for her. She says it was. She liked the fact that it was very diverse. Like her high school back here in Utah before we moved. I think again you could count on one hand how many people of color were in her school. Like I know of one black family that lived in our city, in our town, because we lived in a small rural town at that point. But being exposed to that diversity was amazing for me because I learned a lot about myself, and I still harbor a lot of biases that I'm trying to work through, like the whole like the whole you see a black man and you instantly fear them. That was ingrained to me.
Very much so.
Because of the news. Because growing up in Nebraska, Iowa, because I was right on the border, the news constantly pushed the agenda that black men were dangerous because they were constantly talking about gangs, rapes, shootings, and always talking about black thugs, which, as we all know, is a dog whistle at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still working through that. even now when I'm like, hey, we need to be more cognitive of all these biases, I still work through that. Like my first initial gut reaction is to get tense. And then I have to take a minute, take a deep breath and realize this is not what you think it is. You were trained to feel this way and try to break that cycle.
I fortunately did not have to deal with that very much growing up. Now, granted, my father is got to be the most racist person I've ever met. So, fun fact about Chris, I took my father on Judge Judy. No joke, no lie, hand to God. He was an ass.
Now we need to find that episode.
Girl, if you find it, I want to see it because I didn't find it either. It would have been season 2. I think season 2.
Season 2. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. Not this time, but I'll find it.
And so at the time, I was pregnant with my oldest. So also another fun fact, my oldest is half Hispanic. I don't see color. Just so, I mean, I know a lot of people say that, but I'll really explain to you. I do not see color. So, after the end, at the end of all of Judge Judy episodes, how the people go out and they question, right? My father, in all of his glory, stood there in front of that camera and said, she is no longer my daughter, and that spick she's carrying isn't my grandchild.
Fucking hell.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Yep. Now, as for the whole I don't see color, I don't. I was 13 by the time that I realized that there was color. Because that's how I was raised. My mom's best friend, her dad was from Mexico. Her mom was from Texas on the border with Mexico. And I'm sorry, until the age, I'm 46 and they're still my abuela and my abuelito. You know, like, no, I was 13 when one of the aunts told me that I was white and I was not Mexican. And I cried.
I don't blame you.
I did. I cried. And grandma got really mad at them and she told them to shut up. Okay, this is what the translation was that I was given, was that she told them to shut up and that if I wanted to be a Mexican, I could be a Mexican. Leave me alone because I eat menudo. They don't.
Wow.
So, yeah. Like, and my mom had... We had Mexican friends. Mom had some friends from Italy, Spain. I mean, I'm in love with a Canadian. I mean, there's a whole... Canada is the whole reason that the Geneva Convention is there. You know, like, I never saw color. The only reason that I knew that color was a thing was because my mom's best friend, that was my tia Nini, she had a goal every summer. She, no lie, this is the stupidest shit ever. She would go to the store and find paint swatches. And then she would find the color that she wants to be that summer. So that way she could give you a name. I want to be chocolate. I want to be copper. Whatever.
The fuck?
I'm like... I'm like, you are so stupid. And she's like, I know, it's fine. That's how she picked her color. And
Wow.
also, she operated on her time. Tia Nini always operated on her time. If you wanted her to be at your house at 2, you better tell her 1. She might show up by 2:30.
I know people like that. You have to tell them like an hour or 2 before.
Yeah. Oh God, it was bad. It was bad. But like, and then, I can't even tell you how long it's been since she passed. But I knew a woman named Gail. I met her through my sister. She was from Detroit. She was this 4'0" black woman, skinny as a rail. But Lord, do not make her mad. You know that saying, TNT comes in small packages?
Mm-hmm.
That was Gail.
I just saw this comment and I had to share it. I'm sorry.
I can get nervous when a white woman walks down the street alone. It means that rent's going up, but that's okay. I shoot my pistol in the backyard every once in a while to counterbalance.
I support that, just so we're clear. Like, for the entirety of my childhood and even into my early adult years, I never knew color. I remember being pregnant with my youngest, and I had a craving for something salty, and Gail was at my sister's and she's like, I hook you up, baby. Just stand right here. I had to stand there by her while she was cooking so that she could rub my belly, my baby belly.
Mm.
And she's like, oh no, we're going to feed this baby right. And I'm like, okay, I'll eat whatever you put in front of me. I don't give a shit. She could have told me it was a poo-poo platter and I'd have still eaten it.
What'd she make you?
She made me ham and greens.
Ham and greens.
And then a sweet potato pie.
Oh, I love sweet potatoes.
Oh yeah. I would have done anything for that. Like, that woman could cook. Like, but that's okay because we traded because she couldn't make a cheesecake, but I could. And so anytime she wanted a cheesecake, she's like, baby, I'll cook you this. You make it a cheesecake. I got you. Oh yeah. And once again, y'all know I'm gonna just say shit comes out of my face, right?
Shut up. Can we highlight that last? Yes.
That's funny. That's
So
funny.
there's a whole inside thing here.
That's
It
funny.
started off with like I didn't eat any spicy food as food for a while, and then became like this like stereotype of like, oh well, white people think that mayonnaise is spicy, and then now it's a running joke because everyone that I've hung out with, all my friends, like they eat spicy food. But it's not the same anymore now because I will eat the fuck out of spicy food because I have my palate adapted to all the Mexican spiciness, and I challenge now. Get over it.
Oh, look. Grandpa had peppers that when he would always pickle them, he grew his own peppers.
Her idea of seasoned food was salt.
At least she used it. Like, come on. But Grandpa used to pickle his peppers. I know, yeah. Yeah. But he could be in the kitchen, which was on one end of the house, and I could be in the living room, which was on the other end of the house. And I knew when he opened that jar, my eyes would water and my nose hairs would singe.
That's hilarious.
Oh, it was so
That's
bad.
funny.
Oh, and Grandpa used to laugh at me.
Like I grew up with sort of some seasoned food. I'm a really, really picky eater. So it's hard for me to eat new foods. Like I'm a foodie at heart. Let's just put it that way. I love cooking new foods.
Yeah,
But anyway,
I've seen your recipe spreadsheet.
you've seen my recipe spreadsheet, so you know. I'm actually working on a TikTok right now for that.
Good.
So
I can't wait.
I'm going to be posting that tomorrow. Anyway, as a teenager, my mom was introducing a little bit more seasoning and stuff, but it was still pretty bland, white people food, basically. And then here in Utah, my in-laws, their idea of seasoning is not mayo, Miracle Whip, salt, and pepper.
Miracle Whip, though.
Miracle Whip. Yeah.
That's
Like
white. That's definitely white people.
They do not like mayo at all. So, I mean, they cook with some seasoning that's required for a recipe. Then there's me. As I got older, I just started adding seasoning to stuff like crushed red pepper. I add to almost every single recipe I make, almost all of them, because I like having a little bit of spice. I absolutely love Mexican food. So I'm constantly making Mexican food all the time, and salsa, and give me all the seasonings. Like my spice cabinet is not a white person spice cabinet at all.
You wouldn't be able to know what my ethnicity was if you looked at my spice cabinet.
Yeah, I've got the onion powder, the garlic powder, the salt. I mean, just seasoning, sage, thyme, rosemary. I love rosemary. Rosemary and olive oil.
Yes.
Potatoes in the oven. So good. I made Greek this week for dinner this last week, Greek chicken, and it was a sheet pan. And it was so good. Lots of oregano and olive oil, and it was so good. And last week, my husband requested I make curry. I've never made it before. So I made chicken curry last week, and I got in my head, so I couldn't eat it. But he ate it, absolutely loved it. Miracle Whip is the whitest thing I can think of right now. It really is. It really is.
But what about ranch?
Okay. Ranch on a salad. Ranch is the only dressing I will eat. I won't do
I'm not talking as a dressing though. I am talking where people will put it on everything and dip everything in it. Oh God.
I have
Where-
one dish where I make it's you guys probably haven't heard of this restaurant called Cafe Rio. It's a Mexican restaurant out here. And I have a dupe for their shredded chicken recipe, and it requires ranch as part of that recipe. That's the only time I use ranch.
See, that to me isn't too bad. But it's like there have been heathens that have come through my home that you got any ranch? Why? What do you need ranch for? Well, I want to put it on my hot dog.
A hot
Babe-
dog?
Baby, did you know that ketchup exists?
That's just gross.
Like, they will dip everything in it. Everything in ranch. Like, oh my God. And it's like, no. And see, the whole picky eater thing, I can't. I don't even know what that is. I do not understand. Because I'm not picky. I'll eat damn near anything, but I won't eat liver and I won't eat grapefruit. And there's not many other things that I won't eat. My kids, from little, like from the time that they were eating solid foods, they were always trying new stuff. Because if it was on my plate, they were like, you know, always trying to steal it and shit. And I'm like, excuse me, you've got the same thing on your plate. Why do you have to take mine? Like, what the fuck?
I have a confession to make about ranch.
Oh God.
So
You
I
don't
have
drink it, do you?
no.
Okay.
Gross. I have tuna in my cabinet.
Uh-huh.
And I keep it for mostly for like emergency food.
Right.
So or when I'm really, really lazy. So I make a sandwich. I take the tuna, I do the draining thing, and then I just add ranch. That's just your face.
You know, whatever floats your boat, okay?
I just have one question.
Hmm.
Who hurt you?
I don't know, generational trauma, you know.
Emotional damage.
The soundboard would go
Yes.
great right now.
Oh my God, right?
We need the
But-
soundboard. I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
But like the whole picky thing, my daughter was 2, maybe 3, and I was eating spaghetti squash. And I had spaghetti squash, a little bit of spaghetti sauce, and some Parmesan cheese on it, like, you know, standard shit. And she comes over and she goes, "Mama, what that?" I said, "Spaghetti squash." She looks over, looks back up at me. She goes, "It yummy?" Yes, that's why I'm eating it. She looks back in the bowl. May have to try it. I said, "Oh, you don't believe me that it's yummy?" That's what she would do. She would stand there, open her mouth, and point her. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my.
And I gave her a bite, and she went, "Is there more?"
Oh, that's cute.
And like, she'll eat
That's
Brussels
cute.
sprouts. She has eaten Brussels sprouts since she was little. And like,
That's
oh
adorable.
God,
I can't eat Brussels sprouts. I'm sorry. The smell of them. So I also grew up a picky eater a little bit. Just a smidge. And that and turn has also turned into my son. He's also a very, very picky
Sorry.
eater.
Severus
Severus.
bit me. He bit my leg. He's
I heard your face like ow.
that was funny. Not gonna lie.
No, leave my leg alone.
The smell of Brussels sprouts is revolting to me.
You know what? Because I'm not one of those people that I think everybody should like everything, because I don't. It's just like people who don't like coffee. I'm like, good, that's more for me. That's the same.
Yep.
That's the same thing with Brussels sprouts. Because if you tell Aiden that you don't like Brussels sprouts, she will go, okay, mine. I will take one for the team. I will take yours for you.
What is the most cultured food you've had? Like outside of normal American white people shit. Let's say two, or if you have more than one, then I'll say down to 3.
Okay. I have had pasta handmade by an Italian. Does that count?
It's different because usually it's made by hand, right?
Oh yeah, it's made by hand.
Made by hand. So fresh pasta, not like, yeah.
Yeah, not dried, none of that. Pierogies.
I don't even know what pierogies is. Oh no! Okay, listen. No. Okay.
We're getting all the tea now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I that's another confession. I have
Hey, no, listen.
but I have been minus 2 weeks ago. I was 3 years clean of Chef Boyardee out of a can. Okay. 3 years.
Oh my god.
I just broke it.
You're good because SpaghettiOs for me.
Right. So I'm not the only one, but do you eat it out of the can though?
Right out of the can with
Right out of the can. Thank you. I'm not alone. Fuck you.
You're not alone. You're
Y'all
not
are
alone
weird.
with that. I don't do it anymore because the last time I did it, I got really, really sick.
Yeah. Well.
I don't do it anymore, but I used to when I was in my 20s. Like when we were really poor and we couldn't afford very much food, it was straight from the can, shoveling in the mouth kind of thing.
So I'll tell you guys what I have 2 dishes in which I had the most cultured food.
Okay.
When I decided to leave Florida, I drove. I packed what I could into my PT Cruiser and left. When I was driving through Alabama, I was like, I'm so hungry. So I think it was during the weekend. So I'm like, I know somebody's got to be grilling. There's got to be a pit stop grill around here somewhere. So I got off the road and I'm all like, this area looks dope. And you look around the buildings and stuff and you see that it's a little rundown. I'm like, perfect. I'm in the right area. So I start driving around. Next thing you know, there's this little pit stop with this big chubby black dude grilling without a shirt, just straight out there.
Nice.
He had a little apron on, right? Because it's the grill. I'm like, that's it. He had some picnic tables set up. I'm like, that's where the fuck I'm going. And I was like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, he didn't even say anything to me. I was like, all right. So I go to this little window, like shack thing they had propped up. And I was like, what do y'all recommend? They're like, well, brisket. The brisket's pretty good. So I was like, all right, I'll have y'all's contraption of this brisket and some bread. And then I'll also have some ribs. Let me tell you something. The best fucking ribs I ever had in my fucking life.
You had a religious experience.
I had a literal, like, lived experience. I saw God, if God existed. Like, a spiritual being came down upon me of the rib gods, where I took a bite and the meat literally just fell. I would say that was my first, I wouldn't call it like a cookout, but like experiencing, how food is cooked. He decided to show his butt on stream.
Yes. He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
He's like, give
But
me love.
it was undeniably good. The second experience, yes, I did have a foodgasm. The second experience of uncultured normal things I don't eat, because of my history of like food pickiness, I didn't eat seafood for a very, very long time. A very long time. I wouldn't even touch it, wouldn't touch fish, nothing related to it, not even tuna.
That's pretty standard for people who are picky eaters for some reason. I don't know why.
Right. So when I was like 25, 26, maybe even closer, like high 20s, I was like, I'm gonna break it now. So I ordered calamari. Okay. That's like the closest I've got. Okay. So I can eat the calamari, but this particular dish, it not only had the fried like things, right, but it also had tiny little like baby octopus without anything, just that. I'm like, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't do it. But I'll eat it like with the breaded crust and it's fried. I'm like, this is actually with the sauce, it's perfect. And now what I will say I love the most when it comes down to seafood, sushi rolls. I'm a whore. I go for the spicy tuna roll every single time. There's this volcanic, I don't even know what the fuck kind of thing it is, but it's like
I'm clipping that. The whole I'm a whore.
Fuck you!
Now, like I feel that way about pierogies.
Pierogies.
So-
Okay, so you still haven't explained what I got. How do
I didn't want to interrupt you. I will
Okay,
tell
sorry.
you. Okay. So, pierogies are a little dumpling, okay?
Okay.
Okay. And inside of them is a delicious mixture of mashed potatoes and cheese. And sometimes there's a little bit of onion in there.
Mm.
I will cut a bitch for pierogies. Like, if it's on my plate, don't.
Mm-mm.
I am the whitest person in the world, and I will cut a person for poutine.
Poutine.
Like that shit is so good.
Well,
good.
my boyfriend would absolutely agree with you because, you know, he's a Quebexican.
Okay, it's French fries with gravy and cheese curds, and it's so good. So good.
He's had
Like
a breakfast one before too that he thought was really, really yummy.
The our county fair just finished up last week, and on Monday I went over and grabbed dinner for us, and they had a food truck there called the Fry Guys, and they had poutine. Totally made my day. Cheese curds. I would kill somebody for cheese curds. I love cheese way too much, which is funny because my daughter hates cheese. Absolutely cannot stand it.
So once winter hits, as what I'm hearing is I should send you some good cheese curds.
Oh God, yes. Yes.
I got you.
Absolutely.
So
there's a place here that they make a couple of different kinds, and there's one, I don't know, it's the white cheese, and they will put a little bit of a dill mix onto it.
Oh. That's good. See, here's why I think it's good that we're talking about food, because I'm a firm believer that food is the most human thing that we could eat, regardless of your race, your gender, anything, especially if you are able to sit down and eat in front of people, share a meal with them. I'm going to be going to Belize in November, and I will be a minority.
You're going to Belize?
Yes. And I'm going to be a minority there, and I feel like it's going to be great, but I'm not going to the islands. I'm not going to the main tourist areas. I'm going to be all up in it, hanging out with locals and seeing howler monkeys and the Mayan, like the temples and shit. And like, So it's good that we're talking about food in relation to the topic at hand that we discussed today with like the segregation and like the breaking down of the barriers and like because at its core, I feel like that's how we can unite people.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like that's why we have as many food selections as we do. I mean, you look up on a map and there's Indian food and Thai food and like you know, there's all kinds of out there. Like
you may not be able to understand somebody's language, but if somebody goes,
right,
you know what the fuck they mean.
Go if you really want to have a one-on-one experience of like breaking down your own stigmatism on race. Go eat real fried chicken from a real Black-owned restaurant and eat it. Yes, food. You know what I mean. Like. And get it from there, you know what I mean? Like that's one way to start. Start there, be like you'll earn. It'll start working from your gut to your fucking brain. Okay, it's gonna like there's gonna be a connection there, and you're gonna start questioning your life's decisions up until that point, being like I'm missing out on so many different things because I don't have any Black friends that I could say can I be invited to the cookout?
Well, I mean, like I had Gail for years. Which the fucked up question I asked her one time was, I said, Gail, you know I love you, right? And she goes, mm-hmm. I said, y'all call us crackers. And she goes, mm-hmm. She knew some shit was about to come out of my face. Yeah. And I said, okay, so if I'm a cracker, then what kind of cracker am I? And she looked at me and like, you could tell that she was actually thinking about the answer. And she goes, you're a Ritz Bits. I said, how the fuck am I a Ritz Bits? Because you soft and buttery.
You're soft and buttery.
Oh, so I got that directly from Little Bitty Black Woman. Nobody can tell me any different. Yep.
I'm going to tell you a little story. So I was in the foster care system for a couple of years as a teenager. So, and into that, I was in shelters and group homes and things like that. But there was one experience with hair. At this group home I was in, there was like a Hispanic girl. There was quite a few Black girls, and some white girls. Like there's a good mix of of kids there. And so I would see these girls have like braids in their hair. And like, I'm like the cornrows and everything else like that. And the beads, I'm like, I want that. And one of the girls was like, you can't have it. Your hair's not good for it. You know, like, and this girl, and I don't know what her name was. And this is going to sound bad, but it's what it is. She's like, girl, I bet I could do it for you. And I'm like, all right, let's go. She's all like, you better not be tender-headed. I'm all like, please go for it. This woman, this girl at the time, she's yanking my damn fucking head sideways and this way, but she ended up putting this cool fucking design and like bending these like braids, not twist braids, corn braids, into like this mohawk style thing. And when it was done, my fucking head hurt. I had a migraine because it was pulling and yanking on my skull. Yep. And then within a couple hours, it starts itching. I'm like, I just endured like an hour and a half of her yanking on my skull. And so I start going like this, and then it clicked. I'm like, now I get it. Oh my God. I get it. But even now, like I don't want to say jealous, but like I've always admired the hairstyles that Black women can have. Like I'm very limited to my very straight hair, and it's very fine. And I know that every hairstyle has its own thing. People who have curly hair, they want to have straight hair, and vice versa. Like every hairstyle has its own, and white people's hair is not the same consistency as Black people's hair. It's just I won't be able to do the same things. But I'm like, I always wanted, when I was younger, when I would see a little girl, she'd have her hair all in braids with the little beads, and I'm like, I want to go I want to go like that. I want to make the sounds. Like I think that's cute. There's this little bit girl on TikTok where she's like, I want to be a black girl. I want my hair like that. I want little beads, and she got it. She got it, which I thought was just like, it's so innocent, the admiration of it. So I think that's where it kind of started for me, as far as like at least the tip of the iceberg of like where it really hit home for me, because I had been a victim of a couple crimes, so that had been ingrained into me because of that trauma. So I struggled with that when it came down to my own issues with it. But that was like the one step that I had that helped me kind of cross over. Well, it's not every person. It's not every black person. And that's where it started for me. And I think I was about 15.
Mine literally started from birth, because my mom and her best friend they met when mom was like 6 months pregnant with me. And so I never knew life without her family. And grandma used to, she used to think it was the best thing ever, because I would eat menudo, which, for people who don't know, menudo is it's a soup, and it's got hominy in it, but then it also has tripe, which is stomach lining. I don't remember if it's pig or sheep, but either way, it doesn't matter. But it's I don't care. It's delicious, and if nobody wants to eat it, fine. Give. I'll take it all. I don't care. And grandma used to make it every year for my birthday, because that was my shit. And I have met a lot of different Hispanics over the years, all different flavors. You know, ones that were actually from Mexico, things like that. Some that were from Texas that were just very ingrained in the culture because of family. And then some that were from up here that they might as well be white, because they don't even, they can't say hola without sounding like a redneck. My oldest father, he would say hola, and he would go hola. Dude, your skin is too brown for you to sound that white. I'm just saying. No, sir. No, sir. He used to get so mad at me. She's like, what? I can't speak it. I know. I heard it. But like, and as soon as they hear that I like menudo, they're going,
right.
Are you okay? I'm like, yes, I'm okay. I like it. Shut up.
Yeah, so back to the hair thing, because
you have something to comment on it?
Because I love the hair thing. I absolutely love the hair thing. In fact,
do you have a picture time share?
It is my time to share. Let me pull it up here, because it's just so pretty. Loading. Here we go.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Pretty. Oh my god.
Right? And then the other one. Why is it not sharing?
You might have to switch.
Oh, I'm like multi-sharing here. Okay, there we go. Wait, it's back to that one. Technical difficulties. Let me try this again, because we don't know what we're doing here at all.
It doesn't pay to know what you're doing.
There we go. And that one.
I
Like
that one.
I love this hairstyle so much. Like the mohawk and the sides and the afro and just
Oh, I do. I totally agree with you. Now granted, I have the white people afro if I brush it, because this is all natural curl. I have it about as tamed as I can get it. It's never more tamed than this, just so we're clear. And most of the time I do have it up just because it likes to get in my way.
right.
But I mean, I've had my hair super short, like sides and back all shaved, and the only thing I had was the top, which that's what my daughter has right now. But her top is long. It comes down to about chin length.
Okay.
And she loves it. And she dyes it like 2 different colors because she'll split it down the middle, and one side is one color, one side's another color.
Right.
Spoiled. That's what she is. She's spoiled.
I usually have my hair cut in usually really short. I usually do kind of a pompadour / mohawk kind of thing. I just haven't the last few years because I haven't got up the energy to find a new hairstylist. And my last haircut was so bad that I've been traumatized.
I hear that.
And I absolutely hate having long hair. I really do. But it is what it is now. And I actually look better with longer hair, I think, than I do with shorter hair now. So, because the whole round face thing going on here.
Right.
My husband has really curly hair. So when we moved to Indianapolis, he went from a dry air environment to a humid air environment, and his hair
poof. Yep.
You know, that's another reason why I usually have my hair up, because if it gets humid,
right. Yeah.
Like when it's wet, it's fine, and it looks, you know, you can see the curls and it looks kind of controlled. And my daughter loves it when my hair is wet because she likes to do the scrunch. Look, if it makes her happy, I don't give a shit.
Okay.
She's 17 at this point. If I can make her happy for 5 minutes, then I've done something with my day. But then it starts to air dry and it does this.
My hair just goes limp.
Yeah, that's kind of what mine does.
I can try curling my hair and it will last maybe a half hour at most.
And
it'll just fall right out. Growing up, I used to get perms all the time because I wanted curly hair and I hated having straight hair. Because, you know, it's the whole you want what you don't have thing.
Yeah.
Most people do, yeah.
And I look good with curly hair. Like my senior photos is me with the perm kind of thing. In 5th grade, was it 5th grade or 6th grade? No, 6th grade. It was 6th grade. New Kids on the Block were the huge thing at the time. And I was madly in love with Joey McIntyre. So I decided in my pre-hormonal, prepubescent phase of admiration that I should get my hair cut just like his. Because he had the really curly hair, right? Short curly hair at that time. So go in right before school starts. So, and back then in the early 90s, late 80s, it was you got your school photos taken within like 2 weeks of school starting where we were at.
It's kind of that way now, yeah.
Yeah. So we went and got my hair cut, and when I came out and looked in the mirror, I had a flat top. Like it was like flat.
Oh God.
It was like a train.
Oh no. Oh no.
It was so bad. So my photos, I have like these little
Oh my God.
It was so bad. I looked like a boy, and my mom, she's like, "But you look like a boy," and I'm like, "That's what I want."
Right?
Hello, there's a huge sign that I'm non-binary right there that I ignored most of my life, but yeah. So segue back into what this episode is supposed to be about, which is Black women and the trials and tribulations that they go through, especially with hair, because California had to make it law. They had to put a law in the fucking books that Black people could wear their natural hairstyles to work.
Mm-hmm.
They had to actually make it a law. Wow.
And
They-
I think it should be illegal for people to touch someone's hair
Yep.
without consent. Because I have heard that from a lot of my my Black friends, both male and
Mhm.
female, that people will just be like, "Can I touch your hair?"
You
You
don't even wait
if
for a
you're
response.
asking right, if you're asking a question, you wait for a response. Like, Jesus, my children learned that by the time they went to school. You a grown ass adult. Come on. And I
That reminds me of an experience that I had. So in junior high, I think it was, we had to do like this job shadow thing for things that we wanted to do, and I decided to do broadcasting as a journalist. So I decided to shadow a sportscaster on one of the local news stations, and I go there and they did the evening broadcast, and he's like, "Hey, how about you come sit out as the credits are rolling?" So I come out and I sit down, and one of the other newscasters, one of the head casters, stars, whatever you call them, um, uh, this was interesting. He was a Black man, and I had my hair pulled back with a band, not a bandana, but a headband. And he reaches over and he touches my hair without asking me.
Mm.
And this was all caught on camera during the credit roll. And I just kind of like that. And if you think about how I was raised, and then for that to happen, it was just like, wait a minute. And then come to find out later how Black people are treated with their hair, especially with people coming up and touching it without asking, that kind of thing. I now look at it like, oh, he just did what he's probably been dealing with his entire life.
Yep.
And my reaction to it was horrendous.
Hmm.
And now when I think back on it, it's just like, wow, that's definitely a learning experience to kind of understand a little bit more. And the interesting thing, this newscaster, his name was Michael Scott, ended up being a journalist with ET, and was one of their head people for like a season.
Nice.
Which I thought was really cool. He
That
didn't
is
live
cool.
very long, which was interesting. But yeah, weird Jess lore.
I like the lures of everybody. And
like the whole hair thing. I personally have never even tried to touch someone. I don't care. White, black, orange, yellow with purple polka dots. I don't care. I'm not going to try to touch somebody's hair. It's just, you don't do that. But I will say that I was working at a gas station. God, this has been forever ago. And I had this woman come in, and she had the most gorgeous hair I have ever seen. I mean the most. Like it had nothing to do with her race at that point. Her hair was just gorgeous. The curls were so defined, like in that first picture that you showed, Jess.
Oh yeah.
Like the curls all over were just so defined like that. And then but she had it like it was draped on her. Like you couldn't have placed it better if you tried. And she's just walking around like this. And I'm like, oh. I did ask her, I'm like, your hair is gorgeous. What hair products do you use?
Right.
And like I do remember she gave me a list. She's like, this is the shampoo, this is the conditioner, and this is the after, shower product. And I went, oh. I was
like their whole routine to take care of their hair, I am in just awe.
Oh yeah.
Like everything that they have to do to take care of their hair. Like it's an entire day for a lot of them. And they call it wash day. And it's just like, I could not imagine spending an entire day just taking care of your hair like that. It just blows my mind. And I am in such awe and admiration of them for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like with my depression and everything and my health issues, I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd have nasty ass hair. I would. It would be completely nasty and ratty and it would just be disgusting. So I am just in awe.
Speaking of that, there is I don't remember if it's on TikTok or if it's on YouTube. I can try to find it. But it is a Black family and they have adopted a little white girl.
Mm-hmm.
And they do the same things with her as they do with their other kids. She gets her hair treated just like they do. She has wash day just like that. Like they don't treat her different just because she don't have as much melanin as the other kids. Which I think that's just beautiful. Yeah. First of all. But it pisses me off at the hate that they get.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why you teaching her that? That ain't her culture. Guess what the fuck it is now? If she's adopted, guess what? The fuck it ain't her culture.
She grew up in it.
Right. And I think it is so cute the way that they are with her. And that little girl just eats it up. She's just like, oh, wash day? Mm-hmm. She just lays back and go, okay. Shit, I would too. Somebody wants to mess with my hair all day? Let's go. Granted, I'll be taking a nap while you do it, but
right. Because you're right to sleep.
Oh yeah, because my daughter's the same way. If you start playing with my hair,
game over. Game over. Yep.
My husband grows out his hair long, and I like to play with it all the time, and it just shuts off his brain.
Cute.
Just shuts off his brain, and he just sits there. It's adorable.
Well, Aiden has the sides and the back shaved, and like if she's not feeling good or she's got a migraine brewing, she'll come over and she'll snuggle and she'll go, "Mama."
That's adorable.
Okay, princess, I got it. You want me to rub your head? Okay. And she'll like if I am not sitting on the couch, she will make me sit on the couch. It's just so she can lay her head in my lap and so I can rub her head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you are a spoiled little shit, and she says yes.
And I think with all of this being said, with the various topics that we have just gone over, from the subject that matter here to food to hair, it's all an attempt to break down stereotypes and stigmatism, because it might not be as what it was, but it is still a prominent thing, because that's what our parents grew up in. That's how, I mean, it really wasn't that long ago.
No.
In the grand scheme of things, it really was not that long ago. And I feel that right now is a great time for Jess to read the selected poem of the day.
You want me to read the poem?
I
Okay.
would love for you to read the poem.
Okay. The poem is called Will V Day Be Me Day Too by Langston Hughes. Over there, World War II. Dear fellow Americans, I write this letter hoping times will be better when this war is through. I'm a tan skinned Yank driving a tank. I ask, will V Day be me day too? I wear a U.S. uniform. I've done the enemy much harm. I've driven back the Germans and the Japs from Burma to the Rhine on every battle line. I've dropped defeat into the fascist laps. I am a Negro American out to defend my land. Army, Navy, Air Corps, I am there. I take munitions through. I fight, or stevedore too. I face death the same as you do, everywhere. I've seen my buddy lying where he fell. I've watched him dying. I promised him that I would try to make our land a land where his son could be a man, and there'd be no Jim Crow birds left in our sky. So, this is what I want to know. When we see victories glow, will you still let old Jim Crow hold me back? When all those foreign folks who've waited, Italians, Chinese, Danes, are liberated, will I still be ill fated because I'm black? Here in my own, my native land, will the Jim Crow laws still stand? Will Dixie lynch me still when I return? Or will you comrades in arms from the factories and the farms have learned what this war was fought for us to learn? When I take off my uniform, will I be safe from harm? Or will you do me as the Germans did the Jews? When I've helped this world to save, shall I still be color's slave? Or will victory change your antiquated views? You can't say I didn't fight to smash the fascist might. You can't say I wasn't with you in each battle as a soldier and a friend. When this war comes to an end, will you herd me in a Jim Crow car like cattle? Or will you stand up like a man at home and take your stand for democracy? That's all I ask of you when we lay the guns away to celebrate our Victory Day. Will V Day be me day too? That's what I want to know. Sincerely, G.I. Joe.
That when damn it, Chris, when you shared that article with that poem with me, I was sitting there reading it and I'm like, wow. Because I was reading it and I started to get like emotional. I'm getting emotional now because I'm like, that is
Yeah.
such a powerful thing. Like
Well, and as
it
soon as I saw it, you heard my reaction. I'm like,
yes. Yes. It like holy fuck. You know, it just all goes down to like what I was saying that like even despite facing racial discrimination, the segregation, the lifestyle that came with it, they still wanted to fucking fight. You
Yep.
know what I mean? They wanted to fight alongside us. They wanted to fight along people who they were that were being racist against them
Yep.
for the country. You know what I mean? Like
for the country that was treating them like shit.
and that
Yep.
that whole poem is just like he's mentioned something about like will I come back to being lynched? I'm like I wanted to fucking cry when I read that. I'm all like this was a real thing, a fear that they had to potentially endure. Like, okay, am I gonna come back home and then like I don't know. It's just
It's
it's emotional.
it is emotional, and I am just sitting here looking at the correlations as to what's happening right now with immigrants.
Yeah.
We have a lot of immigrants in the military. They joined to earn their citizenship, and we're treating them like shit.
Yep.
And they're going through the same exact thing now.
Yep.
And it's fucking heartbreaking and enraging. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good place to end it for tonight, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. I love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in here at Ramblings the Mat. If you want to find us again, go ahead and follow us on Blue Sky, Spotify, anytime, anywhere you find your podcast, we're probably there. You want to tune in live next time, just log in to Twitch, and we're on YouTube too. We're literally everywhere. Ramblings of the Mat. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Get some Z's, bruhs.
I'm a potato.
Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in here at Ramblings the Mat. If you want to find us again, go ahead and follow us on Blue Sky, Spotify, anytime, anywhere you find your podcast, we're probably there. You want to tune in live next time, just log in to Twitch, and we're on YouTube too. We're literally everywhere. Ramblings of the Mat. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Get some Z's, bruhs.
I'm a potato.